Title: The Kitchen Table Experience. It was not only an old kitchen table, but certainly it was remembered for its experience. And it wasn't in the church building. There was no stained glass, no soft organ music playing in the background, just a battered wooden kitchen table. Chipped at the corners, the smell of burnt toast still lingering in the air. And yet, Jesus met them there. The story: it was just past dusk in suburban Melbourne. The late winter chill crept through the cracks of the small townhouse where Elise lived. She sat across from her father, Malcolm, the air between them thick and silent. Her mom had passed only a month ago. Cancer, fast, cruel. The two of them had grown used to quiet since. Grief doesn't arrive like a storm and leave with the sun. It lingers. It stains. On the kitchen table between them sat 2 mugs of tea, untouched, a half-eaten loaf of sourdough bread, some cherry jam, and a small bottle of grape juice Elise had picked up on her way home from work. Something about the memory of communion at church tugging at her. "I don't know why I bought this," she murmured, more to herself than her dad. Malcolm finally looked up. His eyes were red but tired, like he'd cried all the tears he had. "I think I do," he said softly. She followed his gaze to the grape juice, then to the bread. "You remember Mom's tradition?" he asked, voice cracking. "Every Sunday night, she'd set a little table and read from Luke 22. Even when it was just us, she said, 'We don't take communion because we're holy. We take it because we're hungry.'" Elise nodded. Her eyes brimmed. She could almost hear her mom's voice. Malcolm reached for the bread and gently broke it. He didn't say much, but his hands trembled slightly. He handed half to Elise. Then he poured the juice into 2 chip mugs. "No organ, no choir," he said, "but I think he's here." It wasn't the bread or the juice. It was a presence that followed. Warmth, depth, a sudden awareness that they were not alone at the table. And in that moment, as Elise held a piece of bread in her hand, something clicked. It was as if grief cracked open just enough for light to leak in. She wasn't trying to summon some great revelation, but as she chewed the bread and sipped the juice, her mind flooded with memories. Her mom's laugh, her faith, the way she held Elise's face during the last few days and whispered, "Don't forget what matters." Then a presence, not just memory, but presence, a calmness she hadn't felt in weeks, a whisper within her that didn't come from her. "I am with you always," Matthew 28, verse 20. She didn't say anything for a long time. Neither did Malcolm. But something burned deep in their chests, like a flame had been kindled, slow but steady. And like the Emmaus Road disciples, they knew what the church forgot to say about communion. Somewhere along the way, communion got boxed into rituals and robes, timed segments, silver trays, small crackers, and plastic cups. But communion was never about tradition. It was always about encounter. The Emmaus story, Luke 24, verses 30 to 31, isn't just a resurrection tale. It's a blueprint for recognition. They saw Jesus when he broke bread, not when he quoted scripture, not when he explained theology, when he broke the bread. Jesus meets us at the table, not the perfect table, not the Pinterest one with matching cutlery, but the everyday kitchen table, the one with receipts scattered on it, mugs from last night's tea, silence sitting like an uninvited guest. In Luke 24, it says, "Now it came to pass, as he sat at the table with them, that he took bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they knew him." Luke 24, verses 30 to 31. They didn't just remember Jesus. They recognized him. Communion is less about ceremony and more about connection, a connection that reminds you, you are not alone. He is still walking beside you, even when you don't feel it. He is in the breaking, not just of bread, but of hearts. It is a burning in my chest. I didn't expect to feel anything. I honestly thought I'd just go through the motions, say a prayer, and feel nothing. But as the bread touched my tongue, I remembered the last thing I said to Mom. "I'll try to keep the faith, even if it's hard." And suddenly, it was like time folded on itself. I was a child again, learning how to pray. I was a teenager angry at God. I was a daughter broken by death. But I was also not alone. There was a presence. Strong, gentle, familiar. I couldn't explain it to Dad, not fully. But when we locked eyes, I saw it. His eyes told the same story. Like the men on the Emmaus Road, we both felt the burning in our chests. Not emotional hype, not nostalgia, but recognition. We met him at the table. Everyday truths and lessons we all can use. 1. Communion is not an event. It's an invitation. It can happen at a church altar or over a silent dinner in grief. It's not where you are, but who you're with. 2. Grief doesn't cancel faith. It deepens it when we let Jesus walk beside us in the ache. 3. God speaks in the ordinary, in toast and tea, in broken bread and unsaid prayers. 4. Don't wait for the church service to encounter Jesus. Set your own table. Take a moment. Invite him, just like Cleopas did. Abide with us, Luke 24:29. Takeaway to carry forward just for you. So lean in now and intentionally listen to this. Elise and Malcolm didn't need a church building to encounter God. They needed a moment of stillness, a heart cracked open just enough for light to seep through, and the courage to believe Jesus still meets people at kitchen tables. You can try this too. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, find a quiet space. Place some bread, a cracker, whatever you have. Pour some juice or water. Take a deep breath. Say aloud, "Abide with me." Then wait. Notice what you feel. Listen for what rises. Let the silence speak. Let the bread remind you he was broken, so you don't have to stay that way. And when you walk away from that table, don't forget the burning in your chest. Penned by Gary Conan Doyle. In worship of God's wonderful glory. This story was inspired by God's holy words in his book. It is by seeking God through his word that you shall find him. Hey, thanks for listening. If you're still here, something in this story or song clicked with you. So here's a little secret. When you hit thumbs up, it tells the YouTube gremlins, hey, more of this. And if you subscribe, it's like saying, yeah, I want in. So go ahead, tap like, hit subscribe, and make sure you don't miss what's next. Because this ride, it's just getting started.